Touchdown, my heart is beating. See the dust on my feet, feel the weight on my bones, hear my breath in my head. I am free for the first time. Touchdown, my eyes are believing. See my friends on the ground, hear the steps, hear the sounds, watch them fly to the hills. We are free for the first time. Let's start this odyssey. Bird steps in front of me. My eyes are wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future. On this odyssey. Touchdown, this place is bubbling. Watch them run, watch them fly, have a drink, start a fire, climb a ship, see the size for the first time. Touchdown, we are greeting. See the look in their eyes on my highway, surprise of a fight for their lives. Yeah, we are meeting. Let's start this odyssey. Brave steps in front of me. My eyes are wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future. Bullets fall like burning chaff. The celebration turns to violence. Laser fire makes shields go blue. Explosions fill my ringing ears. Humanity has come to stay. With all our faults, fears and anger. Joyous in this wondrous fall. Or let me slip away.
all know what it's like. You're busy managing your settlement when suddenly the alarms go off.
Oh no, not again.
That's right. A commander with a Federation naval rank of Admiral, an Imperial King no less, has landed in a ship worth over 100 million credits and is killing all your staff, while they look around for a 10 credit adhesive to glue an upgraded scope to their 100,000 credit assault rifle. They fly away with their super glue and you're left with a problem. How are you going to get your agricultural plant back up and running?
How am I going to get my plant up and running?
How are you going to find staff at short notice?
How am I going to find staff at short notice?
How are you going to deal with all those bodies?
There's bodies everywhere, and they've stained the carpet.
Wonder no longer. Call Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services.
Hello, I'm Harry from Harry's Mine. After a sudden increase in robberies and murders by commanders since 3307, I've gained valuable expertise in cleaning up bodies, recruiting new staff and restocking stationary lockers. Now you can benefit from my experience by signing up to our Crime Scene Cleanup Service subscription plan.
That's right. For only a small monthly fee, when your settlement alarms are activated, our rapid response cleanup crew will be dispatched, along with our patented Cadaver Scoop 150. The Cadaver Scoop 150 can be mounted to surface reconnaissance vehicles and skimmers to make tidying up your settlement a breeze.
Wow, the bodies are gone.
Our recruitment team has potential new employees on standby across the galaxy, ready to fill your vacant roles in security, logistics, administration, processing, and more.
My plant's operational again. Thanks, Aries Crime Scenes Cleanup Services.
Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services. We'll have your settlement as good as new before the next ship arrives. Cadaver Scoop 150 disposal bags sold separately.
Oi, how you doing, my brother? So you run some data and you left your little sidey and you're starting to think about maybe a ship that can punch a little bit harder. Well, the Killback, the one with the little flappy wings, is just what the doctor ordered. It is multi-crew enabled and is the smallest ship with a fighter bay, so you can point and they will do your bidding. Ha! It's got 3 utility mounts, 2 small and 2 medium hard points, plus a whole batch of compartments. So if you want a bit of fun, grab a Killback, my son.
Hey kids, it's Azimuth Biotech. And we're here to tell you some sad news. Our knuckleheads down at the Starshine Imaginarium were a bit too true to life when they made the new Hunter class of Tickle Me Thargoid. And on the advice of our lawyers, Azimuth Biotech is asking for all of you to return your Tickle Me Thargoid Glaves to your nearest toy store to receive a full refund. We would also like to offer our heartfelt condolences to the Jones family in HIP 71682 and invite them on an all-expenses-paid trip to Hind Mine in Titari so that our top scientists can do everything they can to save little Astrid's sight. Keep your eyes peeled for a Titanic surprise coming to a toy store near you soon. This has been a message from Azimuth Biotech. Remember, you owe us.
and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
and the fantastic
Community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the current Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 459 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Defire, Chief Archivist of Lave Radio, also known as Colin No Arms Ford. And joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our Head of Health and Safety, Commander Ed Levice, otherwise known as Ben Mus Woodward.
Does that mean you're mostly armless?
I'm rearming even as we speak. We also have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psychit, otherwise known as Claire.
These boots have seen everything. I'm so sorry. I'll go now. It's fine.
Very good at
Is it
walking.
my fate to touch everything?
But I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff on my mind and in it.
And also bringing up the rear, we've got SRV Banksy himself. That's Commander Alec Turner.
Hey, Colin's back. Let's give him a big hand.
Yes, because no one else, because I can't.
Aww.
Yeah. If you wish, you can join us live. We're hanging out in game, in open. Or where are we, Ben?
I am currently grinding the beans, so I apologize for background noises, but I am in Lave at the moment with Commander Doc 1.
Excellent. And I do believe the Chris Mark 4 will probably be joining you soon. But if you can't get to in-game, you can join us on the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or go to twitch.tv/laveradio, or even better, go to YouTube or Facebook.
Even
or
better, YouTube.
Twitter.
Even better, YouTube. Sure.
I'm just showing the diversity of platforms that people can find.
I mean, people. You'd think people would know by now.
Yeah, but they don't, which is why we always bring it up. You never know. There might be one new person who decides, "What's this about a Lave Radio that I hear about? I must."
Well, in doing so, they
look."
probably find us via one of our social platforms. I'm being facetious, and
Really?
I'm enjoying
Can I be
it.
serious
Never
for a
would have
second?
guessed. You be serious.
Yes.
Okay.
If this is your first episode of Lave Radio,
Go back to the beginning and listen to every other single one.
no, why would they do that? Please get in touch with us via socials or
Let us know in the comments,
info@laveradio.com.
or let us know on our
And-
Discord. Don't
and
email.
I'll
Don't
try
email
to
because
sort
Ben
you
never
out
pays
with
attention to
something.
them.
I pay attention to emails. But I don't pay attention to social media. Social media is scum.
Emails these days, you might as well get a gramophone, Grandad.
God, it's a sliding into DMs kind of situation right now.
Hey, we're not doing any of that.
No, there are other games that handle that a lot better than this one. Okay, well,
What the hell is this? 0800 1234. Why? What have you done, Chris?
oh no, the Chris Mark IV is he's putting out a
Yes.
helpline, isn't he?
He's putting something out.
Commander Crane in the
Oh.
chat rooms, he says it's his first time listening live. Does that count?
No, first time listener ever.
Ah, right. Fair enough.
If
Then.
this is your first.
Also, can you answer a really, really important question? Why?
Because we're awesome.
Why? You've made it through this far. Why are you still listening? Surely you would know by now.
I'm sure some people are still discovering Elite. And, you know, they're like, you know what? Elite's a really frippin' amazing game. I want to find out more about that.
Yeah, do you know, Commander Foxy Loxy will be tuning in any day now for his first episode, I bet. Actually, he's probably finished it by now.
Chirpy Vader's on his third.
Amazing.
So yeah, we do have new listeners.
Amazing.
Thank you, new listeners. We love
I'm
you.
so proud. I'm so proud of all of you for sticking with us.
It is a
thank
bit
you for
of a...
everybody else who's listened to everything. Yes.
Congratulations, you've made it through the marathon that is the intro.
Yeah, if you think that's bad, wait till you get to the end of what everybody's been up to this week. So let's start
to our
with...
content.
Okay, let's start with Claire.
Oh, I was taking a drink. What have I been up to this week?
Obviously.
Not an awful lot. Like D&D stuff. A lot of D&D stuff. Oh, I raised some money for the British Red Cross, which
Excellent.
was really cool. We raised some money for the British Red Cross on Friday, which was lush and fun and a really nice experience. And I was shattered, and I slept for most of Saturday, and then came back to did some D&D stuff over the weekend. And have since been playing Cyberpunk because there's a new what's it out with Cyberpunk, which CDPR recommended that you start a new save for, and I've only just unlocked the DLC like 10 hours in, and I've been predominantly focusing on the main quest. So I don't know whether I would necessarily recommend it, but I've just had the phone call to start the new stuff with Idris Elba in, and I've forgotten how much I enjoyed that game. It is a very, very fun game. Apparently, in one patch between when I last played and I now played, you now have like a handheld chainsaw that you can use, and it has become my entire personality, decapitating people and enjoying like cutting off their arms and hearing and seeing the comments from chat, or will never be ahead of anything going forward, or he really lost his head. There's been a lot of really insensitive jokes that have happened, and I've just been enjoying the gore. It's a fun game.
Well?
Sorry?
They're mostly armless as well.
Like one person lost one arm, and I thought of Colin.
I've heard the new version's got ray tracing and stuff as well.
It's beautiful. I don't know exactly what they've done with it, but it feels beautiful. It runs smoother. It feels like it's the last time I played it.
They've done good stuff.
Yeah, the last time I played it felt like it was difficult in a single PC streaming setup. Now it doesn't. I don't feel like I'm batting an eyelid with it at all. And it's really nice. I'm really enjoying it. I forgot how much I enjoyed that game. I really enjoy the representation in this game. You know what I'm like. Representation and accessibility and all of that sort of nonsense. And I'd forgotten how beautiful Judy was, and it has rekindled.
Judy's awesome.
Rekindled a love between before there was him, there was her. And it has been a lot of fun, but I haven't played an awful lot of Elite other than on Friday when I finally went in game and checked out the new logs. I say the new logs, but the logs from the Warglass Intervate.
The Zach Calico.
Yeah. The Calico Zach things. Really, I thought they were really good. I really want to do them have people do voice acting for me for them so I can put them together.
Nice
think of some voice actors who could do this.
I imagine Pete's probably already been on it or something and got some folks involved. But it's really good. It's really good. I think one of them looks more like it's text chat though, so I don't know how well that would, it would always translate. It would always translate, but it's I thought that was really fun. I went and looked at I went and looked at a Titan and used a pulse wave on it because I hadn't had an opportunity to do that yet, and saw how tiny the little pod sections look on the Titan. I wasn't quite expecting them to be so dinky tiny small.
Nice. I haven't done that yet. Not until we can go and mine them. More on this later.
More on that later. I wanted to go check it out because that message hadn't come out yet. That was a little another one of those ones where I always feel like Elite is really struggles to get scale across. Like, we know spaceships are big. We know that they're big because it takes you run out of breath when you're running between the entrance to the concourse and the Corvette if you don't have like endless running or whatever on. But I forget. And that was another really stark reminder of how titanic the Titans are.
Yeah,
You're dead in the
right.
name, really.
You're dead right. I haven't been, but I've seen videos and screenshots of the little dinky human sort of signatures. And you're right. We have no idea how big a Titan is.
Yeah.
I think very few of us have the slightest clue how huge a Titan is until
it's so difficult to quantify in any way because of just the sheer scale of it. I experienced my first scythe only from like a passing view, and they're pretty scary too. But yeah, I feel like I had a good portion of time to really catch up with some of the new things that have appeared in Elite, so that was really nice.
Cool. Can I backtrack? When you went to get the Calico logs, was the location still nicely lit? Because it's a stunning location.
It is a stunning location. It's in a crater that I couldn't.
Good, isn't it?
I was going to say it's in a planet dip, isn't it?
Big planet dip.
It's in a planet dip. It's really pretty, and it was lit. It was very, very well done.
Cool, good. I'm planning to make a time card.
It was dark when I was there.
Oh, was it?
Okay. So it's not locked then.
It was night when I was there.
It's actually. Does anyone know because it's a moon? Even moons that are tidally locked, if the parent planet's moving, I've never quite got this right in my head about whether a tidally locked moon means very much in terms of whether it gets day lit all the time or not. Because
no, it all depends on what the planet's orbit is. Because if your planet is tidally locked to the star, then basically you've got one side which is constantly covered in
But
light
if the moon's tidally locked to you, then that means jack shit in terms of how it
it just means your periodicity is going to be whatever the planet rotation is rather than the moon's rotation.
Yeah.
So look at Meteor and Hollow, for example.
Yeah. So basically, if I'm ever looking for like a planetary location to do a race or something on, which I want to guarantee is going to be permanently lit, then I never bother with moons. I always just find tidally locked
planets.
Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah.
Mind you, if you want the planet constantly to be in the sky for some reason, then you land on a tidally locked moon, so that no matter where you're driving about, as long as you're on the side that faces the planet, you will see the planet. Anyway,
tidally locked pair, don't we? Anyway,
right, we'll go Ben.
What have I been up to? I've been mostly in D&D land as well. As we're talking about it during the pre-show, I went off and I made myself a teeny tiny gnome to see how certain cutscenes would physically work with some of the larger characters. and they've thought of that too.
Gnome is where the heart is. Yes.
Gnome is where the heart is, and I had to go bubblegum pink.
Obviously, it's the only choice.
I don't think I found any pigtails though.
Yeah, there are pigtails. You can do like little space buns which have pigtails down the back.
Okay, I saw space buns, but I didn't.
So
turn
yeah,
it around to
there's
see the
space
dangly
buns,
bits.
and then there's also space buns with pigtails down the back.
Okay, okie dokie.
One of my
I
dark
like my
edges has
character's-
them.
Yeah, I like my character's hair now anyway, so I'm quite happy with what she has. But yeah, I was looking for pigtails because there are certain things that have to be done, and a bubblegum pink gnome with pigtails, it just seems right or wrong, depending, I suppose. In spacey games, I've played the alpha, doing the alpha games version of CQC, which has got a whole load of love recently, and that was a lot of fun. And I quickly popped in just to make sure things were working after they did a patch, and I got recognized for being in the wrong universe by a commander. And I'm sorry, Commander, I've forgotten your name, but hi and thanks for listening and things like that. Anyway, because he was like, "You're a bit far from Lave, aren't you?"
Wow.
Like, yep, I really am.
Cool.
But who'd have thought it? Space games, and there's a crossover in the player base.
In the player base,
Crazy talk.
wow, that's amazing.
No, it's amazing. Yeah, that's really that's been my life, really. Oh, I did actually on Friday. I took part in a murder mystery as well, and that
Sort of
was
murder
actually-
mystery.
Like I think it was like something. Basically, the guy arranging it had these PDFs from the late 90s, early 2000s, I think.
Wow.
And shared the appropriate one with us. And it was fun. But maybe not the best of idea to do over the internet whilst consuming large amounts of whiskey, rum, and wine. Doubly so because there were 2 women there and 4 men. One of the women was playing a male character. Three of the men were playing females. My character was retired and sleeping with the Mexican gardener. The Mexican gardener was sleeping with just about everybody there. But the issue that we all had in looking back on it in hindsight was, and there's relevance with the Mexican gardener coming up.
Okay.
Was that the game made life harder for you by not telling you reciprocal facts. So, for example, we really started grilling somebody that we thought was lying about whether or not they attended a funeral. And we really started grilling this person, and I feel quite bad about it now. We found out later on they didn't know they'd gone to the funeral. The only person, it was like their sister's funeral.
That's ridiculous. How can they not know that they went to a funeral?
That person's husband knew that they both went to the funeral, but they didn't know that they went to the funeral.
That's really silly.
And we're like, what the hell? And
That's got to have been something that was missed, though, for sure.
Well, no, this was done in a lot of places because I went off and I found out later on that I was sleeping with this Mexican gardener, and he's like another British lad was like, "Hey, I was sleeping with you, mate." And I was like, "Are you?" "Yes, we're shagging." He's like, "Are we?" "Yes."
Wow.
And I showed him that part
So
of my
memorable.
text.
So memorable.
Like,
it must
we're
have
shagging.
been.
And he's
And
like, I've not been told that.
And then after all
So-
that, keys were put in a bowl.
Yeah. God. So yeah, but the game did not make life easier for us by hiding facts that the other person should have known. Because if I was shagging him, then he should really remember that fact, and vice versa. And if we both went to a funeral, we should both know we both went to the funeral, rather than going down this weird red herring. And in hindsight, there were a bunch of cases like that, where one person was told one thing, and the other person who was there just didn't know anything about it, which made life awkward and argumentative. But apart from that, we had lots of fun.
It's live role playing, but without the swords.
Basically, yeah, and yeah, we all got on camera, and I found out this only after the event that we were all meant. Well, only as we were all going on camera that we were meant to be wearing masks and.
I was going to
hats
say, I
and things.
imagine
We're like, are we?
yeah, some fulsome stoshes and things are surely called for.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Well, and the guy who was raging it was like, yeah, we only
speaking with
decided
a
to do
crappy
this
French
last
accent.
second. Yeah, well, I was meant to be this New York. I was meant to be this New Yorker, retired to California, and a book author or something like that. And we had
So I'm
various.
thinking fake tan, maybe a bagel, and a pipe.
Well, I was female as well, but I suppose women can also.
Women can smoke a pipe.
Yeah. Hi, Chris. Chris has just shown up in Lave. Well, it was fun. It was just. I'd rather get drunk to games like Cards Against Humanity and things.
Yeah, I feel that.
But we still had fun, so yeah, it was worth trying.
Fair enough. So we'll move on to the Chair Whittler himself.
Hello.
Hello.
So, let's get the innuendo out of the way. Yes, so I've been sneaking out to my garage in the mornings to oil my wood. Fanar. There we go.
Are we talking moist wood now?
Woohoo!
It is after I've oiled it, that's for sure. Anyway, what else have I been up to? I went to see Haunting in Venice, the new Kenneth Branagh murder mystery Agatha Christie thing. It's good actually. I've really enjoyed this series of films, but if you've liked the other two, this one not so many exciting locations and costume changes. It all takes place in a dark and rainy abandoned building in Venice over the course of one night, but it's still good. What have I done also? In game, I went out to what I'm now calling Calico's Crater to get the logs, but it is a gorgeous location. And once I was there, I couldn't resist the urge to drive across the crater. And I'm in the middle of building another time trial for it, but I had to abandon that because there's a new flipping buckyball race on, which I have been getting stuck into. And I have mixed feelings about it. Actually, this is nobody's fault. It's me. It's just me being a grumpy old fart, and I have history in this regard in buckyball racing in the past. It's to do with races that have things like heat bonuses, where it turns out you can get such a massive heat bonus that going fast becomes somewhat irrelevant. And it's all about building a ship that can withstand 1,500% heat to get yourself a ludicrous bonus.
Oh, Jesus.
And whereas I like racing, I like flying ships and racing. So
yeah, same.
I'm not going to do that well in this. Well, actually, the nice thing is that there's still regulation, and regulation is regulation, and I think the heat bonus won't be such a big deal in that. So I'm going to switch to regulation tomorrow. It's cool. I mean, it's fun.
Oh, it's not cool at all, but yeah.
No, it's not cool. It's hot, and it's quite fun seeing how hot you can get a ship. But is it buckyball? Is it? I don't know.
Oh, that you sound so grumpy, Alec.
I
love it. I love it. Like the hate flows through you.
He's not the only one. We've got Shane Blackwood himself in the chat room going, not disagreeing with you, Alec.
While that is true, Shay is sitting on a fairly big heat bonus, whereas I'm refusing to even get into it.
Excellent. Well, I guess that just leaves me. Well, the recovery is progressing. As I said earlier, I am rearming. But unfortunately, it does mean that I haven't been able to do much in the way of using a hot ass. I was going to do some horrible innuendos there, but to tell you the truth, I'm that tired and that drugged up, I can't be bothered. This sort of I've been working on 3 games, to be honest. I've done because I can use a mouse. I've been playing some Deliver Us the Moon, and really enjoying that. Even though
it's so good.
Yeah, but I just really am crap at puzzles.
There's more puzzles than Deliver Us Mars.
Yeah, I know there is. And then I've got that one lined up afterwards. But at the moment, I couldn't believe it. It took me half an hour to work out how to launch the rocket. What is wrong with me? And they go, no, I'm sure I've got those switches right. What's going on? But never mind. I'll leave that. Of course, I've been joining in with everybody with the D&D theme that everybody's been doing. I, like I said, I'm still playing through my first ever character, which was the original Phoenix Defier, a magic user with a Brummie accent. So. Yeah, it's quite a laugh. Reading out the dialogue to yourself in a Brummie accent for some reason makes me laugh. But then again, I am at home on my own a lot of the time. So, yes, it just goes to show the insanity is beginning to leak out. And finally, on Sunday, I did try to stream some Elite Dangerous under the under the title, "Can a pilot fly with fractured arms?" The answer's no. I'll just point that out. I was driving around and running around, I'm driving around with the SRV and running around, obviously, with mouse and keyboard. That was absolutely fine. As soon as I got onto the ship and had to start flying the ship, it seemed that every single muscle, because I've got limited range of movement. The first two activities seemed to be fine, a little bit painful, but the actual flying of the ship involved, I think, every single painful movement I've got.
Is it the pitch and roll stuff then?
It's the pitch and roll.
Yeah.
The twist action, I can do the twist action without fine. That's fine, but actually pulling back on your joystick, yeah, that's when you get some serious pain. And although there was a couple of people that said, you know what, it's the best stream you've done in ages because we are laughing every time you grimace in pain.
Wow.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Was this in VR as well or not?
Oh no, well I've actually put the VR headset on, and I can't use the controllers. And this VR headset's got proper hand tracking as well, and I can't twist my hands to the position it needs to switch the thing off.
Oh, do you have to look at your palm or something like that?
Yeah, there's a certain gesture you've got to do in order to switch come out of the app you're in. So you do this secret gesture, and it gives you the dialogue to close the app. I can't do that. So I'm either switching the headset off and switching it back on again. And at one point, I've had enough of this, and it hurts too much. So yeah, that was it. So yeah, it's it's a challenge. I'll say that. And I had a quick look at my bike, and my bike is basically, the gears on it have gone. So it's a brand new bike after 2 months, and I've got to take it back to the shop to get it repaired. So yay. So yeah, that's my week. Not stressful at all. Okay, let's flip this over to the development news. And what have the devs said this week? Well, actually, they've said quite a bit, because for the first time in 2 months, Frameshift Live was back with number 33. Yes. With Sally and Arf. And I'm going to go around the group, see what everybody took away from it. We'll start with Psykit.
Excellent. Great. I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it? Okay.
I didn't watch it. Sorry, I've been really busy this last week and still haven't managed to catch it. I've had crib notes from it, but I didn't really have the opportunity to go back and watch it. I'm afraid. Sorry.
Note to self: ask people first before bringing it up.
I'm glad you got me. Get me out of the way.
I have watched it, Colin.
Yes,
I
watched
would
it.
describe it as being inoffensive.
Inoffensive. Yeah, I mean, we know that
it was nice.
It was nice.
It was
Okay.
fine. It was fine. The did you watch it, Colin?
I did.
Okay, so I'm not preaching to the I mean, it was the news, as in the dev interview was. I know what Ben means. It was a lovely interview with Max, but it didn't tell us very much that we didn't know. It's nice behind the scenes stuff, but no big reveals. But I thought it was a good live stream as a whole. I enjoyed it as a whole. It's good stuff.
Yes. A couple of high points then to talk about. Obviously, we got a shout out.
Yay! Thank you,
That
Sally.
was nice. Yeah, thank you, Sally. She says we don't we don't shout you out as often as we should. So yes, thank you.
We used to get a shout out every week with when Bruce was there. He always went, "Oh, yep, we've got podcasts that we need to talk about." But then, I mean, the most important podcast stopped, and then they just stopped doing all podcasts. What can I say?
Nothing, I guess. That's why the dead air was there. Right. Yeah, so we got a shout out. One thing that I was relieved that they said was that a whole load of hackers had been dealt with
I had heard that.
permanently.
Yes, I liked the permanently.
Permanently.
Like
So
Arthur's taken them out the back, clubbed them to death, and buried them in 10 feet of concrete. By the sounds of it.
yeah, they didn't go into any details. I don't think anybody's actually said anything on any social media about, oh, I've been banned from Elite Dangerous or anything like that. But what they've done is they've said that the hackers that have been causing issues with, I don't know, with swapping models, so they're flying around in Thargoid ships and things like that, they've been dealt with permanently. Now, that normally means they're actually out of the game, and if they try and use the game or buy a new game using the email that they've had before, they won't be allowed to. So yeah, those accounts will have gone, and if they find another way into the game, they've got to start from the Sidewinder, and off you go.
I don't know if they can do things like ban on MAC address or something, so it's a little bit more permanently. But anyway, I don't know, and they're not about to tell us, because if they told us, then people would get around it. But
yeah. So we've. I mean, that's good to hear, because it's in the past we only found out that people had actually been banned from the game permanently when they complained about it on social media, and you know. Because there was always that thing hanging over, oh, that such and such a commander is going to get you because he's hacking, and as soon as he turns up, you might as well just combat log anyway, because you know it. But yeah, permanently.
It does no harm to hear Arthur say we have dealt with it, rather than not hear anyone say anything. I think it does no harm for them to say, "Yep, we're aware of it. We've dealt with it."
Obviously, we've now got 3 weeks left until update 17 turns up. They reiterated that and showed the video several times.
They did show the video several times, and I have a question for the crew.
Yeah,
which I am curious about.
I know something. I know something from that as well.
Okay, well, let's see if it's the same thing. I'm really curious. When Arthur said there's a thing we haven't spotted yet, and then he mouthed something to Max behind his hand about what we haven't spotted. And I'm finding it very hard to believe that we haven't spotted it. I think we've been over that, you know. And when I say we, I'm sort of talking about a collective, us and the Burr Pit, and what I've heard here, there, and everywhere about what's in that teaser. I'd be quite surprised if we've missed something. Does anyone think we've missed something?
I don't think we've missed anything.
No, I don't either.
That was exactly what I was gonna say. I think I think he's pandering to a crank it up to 11 kind of crowd who do loads of passionate. I'm going to say passionate. The passionate crowd who invert the colors and look for patterns where there aren't patterns in just reverse textures and things like that. I think he is maybe goading that particular crowd rather than being quite as honest. Although
Maybe. I mean, equally, he doesn't necessarily know what we do know. So it's a reasonable
True.
stance to suggest. What do we think he mouthed? I'm guessing he mouthed 2 headlights.
Oh,
I thought
I
it was
reckon he
3
probably.
headlights.
I reckon it might have been something to do with like the thing that Apathis pointed out last week with the lightning.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I think that is a really
That's the
real
more
blink.
subtle one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a real subtle blinking you miss it kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I must admit, I mean, first time I've been able to talk about this, I mean, I was getting serious Expanse vibes from this. Really, very proto-molecule for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, and we're also joined by Max, one of the developers, who was responsible for the scythe. And we got a lot of in-depth information about the scythe itself now that we've actually had to deal with it for a couple of months. And yeah, it does exactly what I thought it did. And what I didn't realise is it's got 2 types of limpets, not just one.
Yeah, I don't know that I've actually seen video of the hatchbreaker part of its armory.
So it's basically got, obviously it's got at least 1 hatchbreaker limpet and then 8 sort of passenger stealing limpets.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting actually, and it sort of fits with our question of the week coming later on about little details and things that we don't necessarily spot. But interesting hearing Max talk about how the Thargoids work together. So when you've got a scythe, which is its objective is to target your cargo hatch or your passenger hold, depending on where your people are, and then break that open and then scoop them out. What the scythe doesn't want is an interceptor turning up and destroying you. So apparently the interceptors actually modify their behavior and try not to destroy you, but focus more on maybe disabling you so that the scythe can do its thing. And I think it would be quite hard as a player to actually spot that happening, I think. So it's nice to hear that it is happening because it makes you appreciate it.
Yeah, they said that I mean, each of these new hunters have got a role. So the glaive is to keep you in place while the scythe comes up and steals things. Yeah, and the glaive is certainly quite good at keeping you in place, unless you know the trick, because that worked for me. At last, I've got the hang of it. I can now get away from glaives. Which
is this the fast silent running thing?
Yeah, the fast silent running
yeah.
thing. It's thanks, Alec. It's
it
allowed
work.
me to play the game
On the
again.
whole, it does work.
Yeah, Ben.
I think one thing that I did like was that Max, again, I don't think we'd realize it, was that Max was saying the Thargoids will time their actions sometimes so that they will delay things a little bit so that it looks cool in the video camera.
Yeah.
I know that was I was like,
yes, he did, didn't he? I'd forgotten that. Yeah,
and that's
you're right.
cool that they do that just to make it look even more awesome.
Oh, explain that for me again. Tell me that again.
When certain events happen,
right?
There are certain cameras that also happen,
right?
And they have written the code to delay things, or I assume speed them up, so that they will happen to give you a cool view of it.
Oh, that's
Rather than
awesome.
just doing it whenever the hell they feel like.
I love that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
it's great because as I just mentioned, I think quite a lot happens in this game that we're completely oblivious to. That and so it's nice if they can try and make us notice, cool behaviors and things. Why not? That's good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's if it's easy enough for them to do, and it just makes your camera look even prettier, that's a win.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because some of the video footage if you manage to get the video footage to look very cinematic, then that's a YouTube video and more promotion for the game. So that's quite interesting to see. Right, I think we'll pop over to unless anybody else has got anything else to mention about the Frameshift Live. No.
So there were some good screenshots. There was a very good screenshot which Arthur absolutely raved about, and I agreed with him. I thought it was one of the screenshots of the year. It was a stunner. It was
that
a very
yours by any chance?
No, it wasn't. It was a very shiny cobra, like some kind of chromed cobra landed on a planet, and it had an interesting ship kit with those kind of
Oh yes,
almost
that
jet
one.
engine like cow pods on it.
Sounds
Yes.
like a slutty cobra
everything
to me.
about it. Everything about it was just glorious.
Sounds real slutty. I'm down with it.
It was a dead slutty cobra. It was the sluttiest
Amazing.
cobra I've seen this year.
Incredible.
You
That'll be a
guys
difficult wank.
Oh boy. You lot are just absolute horn dogs after Baldur's Gate 3, aren't you? It's turned you all into basically lust monsters. You're even going, oh, look at the ports on that ship. Oh, look at the
look at
ports.
this shiny engine.
A shine on that cowling.
Oh, look at the exhaust on that.
Oh dear. It's like that game is like it's giving everybody Viagra. It's just,
man. It's just given me the opportunity to be horny on main, Colin. I think this is what the problem is.
oh dear. Right. God, just imagine if they actually invented a proper VR experience for that. Oh no.
We've had this conversation. It didn't end well for me.
Right. Well, before this continues down the spiral that it's obviously heading, well, we'll go to the community news to see what the community has been up to. As my arm flops all over the side of the chair. Hang on. What has the community been up to? Well, first of all, we have a brand new high wake, which is titled "Elite Dangerous Makes You Better," which it's focused on basically the mental health benefits of playing Elite Dangerous, which I can attest to.
Yes, indeed.
Orbital.
Indeed. Spot the Lave radio mug in there. How beautiful is that?
Man.
A little bit of detail. Nice one.
Oh, there's a bajillion Easter eggs.
There are. They're so good.
Right, next one. This is one I haven't seen yet. We've got playing Elite with HOTAS is a completely different experience. Oh, just to be able to use a HOTAS again without.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. If it wasn't so
how
self-inflicted.
insensitive of me to put this in. I didn't even think. I popped this in because it's
patronizing.
I popped this in because it's loot and grind, and I always like I like his videos when they pop up. It's just a very cool, calm, and collected, sort of attitude to the game and what's cool and nice about it. And yeah, he was just talking. He was talking about how playing with a HOTAS kind of enhances the experience greatly. What struck me and why I chucked it in the show notes because I thought it was interesting is he was using a HOTAS I've never seen before. It looked quite nice actually. It's called a Flashfire Cobra V5. Which I just looked up before the show, and it's 99 quid on Amazon for the throttle and joystick combo, and it looks nice. It looks like a nice sort of mid-range joystick actually.
Excellent. I'll probably have to try and find a new X52. Or, I mean, is the joystick of choice at the moment still the X52? Because I looked it up on Amazon, I couldn't find it anywhere.
No, it's really not, Colin.
It's the VKB, I think. If people are going to go the extra.
I can't afford to go the extra because
I love my X52 Pro. I've never had a problem with it. She knock on wood very quickly, but I know other people have really other people say it breaks all the time or they have to get it fixed. I can honestly say, and I don't look after my things. I need to clarify this. I don't I should look after my things a lot more than I do. I do not look after my stuff very well. So that HOTAS gets knocked around a lot, and it suffers me, and it provides what it needs to.
So we're just waiting for Ben to jump in with something like bashing your HOTAS or something like that, you know.
It's a bit difficult to talk about me like handling a joystick without making some kind of penis reference. And I want to like feel free to open it to the floor if any of you want to talk about a hand on a stick and things along those lines, or we can just move on.
Or how about how about a HOS ass? Why not have your hands on two sticks at the same time?
I mean, that's for weekends, Ben.
Oh, it's nighttime. Oh.
Yeah, that's because the nights are closing in.
No, Chris and I have just arrived at Wishbone Point, and it's dark.
Oh, my lovely crater. Yeah, you're right. It is, isn't it?
It is very dark.
It's very beautiful in the daylight.
It's a really nice sight.
I wouldn't know.
You can wait 12 hours, or how long is the day on that place?
I don't know what the periodicity of this moon is.
Give it time; it'll be fine. Patience. We've got about an hour and a bit. We'll be fine. I'm sure the sun will come right round. Star will come right round.
Actually, does the planetary map or something like that tell us the periodicity of the asteroids?
Not really.
It might do.
A bit. Not really.
That'd be good if it did, wouldn't it? That'd be really helpful.
It would.
Yeah, it's sort of out of sync, unfortunately. We spoke about this in the show a while back, where I suggested it was 180 degrees out of sync, but it's not even.
But then we've managed to prove that it's not. It just
I think you can see the rotational period though, or like if you in the system map.
You can, but you can't tell what's at any. You can't tell from the system map which.
You'd have to fly away, look at the planet, and go, "Well, it's about halfway round."
Yeah.
Yeah. Best way, eyeball it. Right. Here's an interesting one. A new video which I've just actually seen, and I guess we can talk about this in more detail later on. There's details in Elite that you might have missed. And this is where someone has gone through and seen little animations and little things that you wouldn't actually know about them unless you accidentally caught them. I mean, I have never seen the way that the Diamondback lands and takes off before because I've never had that ship.
Yeah, it's nice actually. I like this video because most of the things in it I was sort of aware of, but to see them so nicely illustrated is, and to just see like the Diamondback change its configuration on takeoff and landing a few times in a row is nice. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's like the T10 that sort of flaps its wings when you come in for a landing.
One thing I didn't know in this video actually, but then I suppose I don't do much on foot stuff, but I hadn't realized that all of the on foot units are uniformed according to their superpowers. So there's very different sort of stylings of uniforms depending on whether it's Allied or Empire or Federation or...
Yeah, I mean, all I've seen is the kind of federal ones. I've never actually got into a tussle in the Empire, so I haven't actually seen any of these Empire suits before. So when when I saw
them up close, isn't it? The Empire suits are great.
I'm surprised actually there hadn't been maybe some Empire kind of suits in the store so far.
Yeah, there's that like ski mask helmet, isn't there? Which I know a lot
one
of
with the
people
funny lines down it. That one.
Well, it's kind of got horizontal, stripes across it.
It's really cool.
It is cool. They're obviously saving that for a big one.
I don't know that we'll ever. I don't know that we'll ever get one like that, especially if they're designed like specifically for.
I suppose
an
NPCs.
in-game faction or an NPC.
They might want to make it not. They might want to make it quite obvious who's an NPC and who isn't, and
exactly.
Not let us pose as, yeah, interesting.
No, I'd love the fact if you could blend in with the NPC so they don't expect you that you're coming.
I mean, that's kind of why.
Funny, wouldn't it?
For the record, Zeta Trianguli Australis A7 has a periodicity of 3.3 days, and
You'll be waiting a
its
minute
parent
then.
planet, its parent planet has a periodicity of 4,578 days.
Hang on,
So yeah,
a day
could be
is
a while.
4,000 days long.
Yeah, one of its days, it's year, so it's orbital period.
Oh, it's orbital
Yeah,
period.
it doesn't actually. Yeah, we want the rotation. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the rotational period of that is 1.3 days,
Right.
and the rotational period of hang on. Oh,
That's the
okay, that
moon.
makes sense. The
Go on.
rotational period of the moon is also 3.3 days, and it says here it's tidally locked to its
Okay.
parent planet. So yeah, we're tied to the 1.3 days of Zeta Trianguli Australis A7's.
So
turning
that's
around
not
the-
bad. If I build a time trial on that crater, then if somebody goes there and it's dark, then all they've got to do is wait 3 days. No,
Wait,
1.5
No,
days.
1.5 days. Well,
And
no, half. It'll be
ish.
half that. It'll be half because if its rotational period is 1.3 days.
Oh, okay.
Then it'll be half of that, so it'll be just a little bit over 12 hours.
So you'll
That's
be
not
waiting
bad.
for a little bit then, just to clarify.
Yeah, but it's cool. It means you can try again another day and you'll hit it in the daylight without you won't have to wait months for it to. Unlike Bloomin' Ice Mordor, which had a stupid 40-day period, which meant once it was dark, you might as well bugger off for the next 2 months.
Winter is coming.
Yeah.
That always makes me wonder about the planet that Essos is and Westeros is based on. Is how close is
it's
it
got the
to the sun?
weirdest-
What orbital pattern has it got in order to have a
I think
variable
Neil deGrasse
winters?
Tyson did a thing on that, and basically it's got a weird ass orbit. I think that's the official thing. It's a weird ass orbit involving multiple bodies that may or may not pull it away from other things at certain times and create the long winters and so on.
And it's really weird when we've got seasons which don't seem to match earthly seasons. I do start wondering about what orbital mechanics, which you don't really want in your fantasy novels, really, do you?
Yeah, but we're nerds, so
Yeah.
we don't type anything.
You just say, "Oh no, it's magic." Yeah, that solves everything.
Wizard did it.
Yeah, a wizard did it. Yeah.
A wizard, yep.
Right. Finally, as Alec mentioned earlier, Buckyball is in progress as we speak.
It is. It is. I should. I would like to slightly retract my earlier grumpiness. It is a brilliant race. It's really good fun. Caleb's done a fantastic job on it, and it's very enjoyable. I just have this little thing about bonuses, but on the whole, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's neat. I love the mechanics of it that you have to. Caleb's got a fleet carrier stocked up with 5,000 tons of narcotics. The thing when you're organising a buckyball race, particularly one where you maybe need to supply something, is you kind of have no idea how much you're going to need really. Because of course, even if you attempt to run, if you load up with your 3 narcotics, which is what you need to do a run, you might blow up halfway round, and then that's 3 narcotics gone, and then you're back to the fleet carrier for 3 more, sort of 10 minutes later. So in theory, we could really burn through his thousands of narcotics. But I gather we're consuming it much slower than he anticipated. So there's going to be one hell of a rap party at the current rate. But yeah, so you get 3 narcotics, and then you have a whole bunch of different stations, and you have to deliver 1 unit of narcotic to each of 3 different stations. And then you pick 2 other stations from a short list, which you have to visit by flying in through the mail slot, flipping and flying back out again, but without requesting docking permission. Yeah, which is good fun. And there's a little bonus if you can do it so quickly that you don't get fined. And then there's kind of a limit, so you can accumulate a certain amount of fines without incurring a penalty. But if you spend too long loitering around the mail slot, then you start to incur time penalties on your run. So it's really nicely judged in that regard. Actually, I love that. I did it once this morning in the regulation Cobra. You can just do that flip and burn out again in time to not get a fine if you're really quick on it, which is really good fun.
Oh, excellent.
And then in addition to all that, so there's a 30-second bonus for having no shields, and there's a 30-second bonus for landing with less than 10% hull. There's a 30-second bonus for getting no fines. And then the controversial one is there's a 1-second bonus for every percentage above 150% heat. And it turns out you can go a long way above 150% heat with the right build.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things that the people discovered. Is sort of after a certain point, it just doesn't count anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's nice tactics in the race because obviously you don't want to start cooking, as it's called, apropos to the name of the race, which is Breaking Badly. You don't want to start cooking too soon while you've still got your narcotics on board, because then your cargo hatch malfunctions and it all falls out, and that's the end of your run. So you kind of have to arrange your route so that any cooking you're going to do comes after you've got rid of all your narcotics. It's all very druggy. It's great.
Very, yeah. Everybody doing white lines on that one, right? One thing that I did notice over the last couple of weeks, though, player numbers have gone up on Steam charts.
Hooray! Game's not dead.
Yeah,
No, that's probably down to. It might be down to Starfield, to some extent.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people are playing Starfield and going, "Oh, this is a shit game. Let's move on and play a better space game." It could be people just going, "What other space games can I get my teeth into?"
Yes.
Which let's be excited about that.
Yeah, and because the IGN article that I think we're a little bit grumpy about before, it did focus on. I've reread it not so long back, and yeah, it's a lot more positive than I originally took it. So I think that might have helped as well, just to fly the Elite Dangerous flag, saying, yeah, you might like Starfield, but there's this other one, and yeah. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
I think in the best possible light, not sort of salty or negative or anything, but actually what Claire said right at the beginning is probably not a million miles from the truth. That Starfield's had a lot of publicity. People have maybe got into it, maybe even enjoying it, but thinking, oh, I'd love this, but I wouldn't mind actually flying a spaceship, and then doing a bit more research and going, oh, hang on, what the hell's this Elite Dangerous thing? Because I think there is still that to Elite Dangerous. I think there are still people who haven't heard of it. And when they do hear of it, think, bloody hell, this is incredible. Why haven't I heard of this amazing game?
I feel like it can be really overwhelming as well. Obviously, Elite is very overwhelming. So it's nice. For me, it feels really nice that there might be alternative things out there that people like alternative games that people can use as a gateway drug to Elite, basically.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I suppose that is one way of looking at it. I mean, there's people I know that have come over from No Man's Sky and sort of went, yeah, I quite like No Man's Sky, but it just felt a bit too cartoony for me. And then they find Elite and they go, okay, this is the kind of thing I want. But then again, there is always the No Man's Sky jealousy thing where they get tons and tons and tons of new features that everyone goes, oh, I wish that could come into this game.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, but
Actually,
their opinion is irrelevant because F to land.
Exactly. Like I said, it's the arcadiness of No Man's Sky stops me from enjoying it as much as Elite Dangerous. But I still enjoy it, just not as much.
Actually, Terakov makes a very salient point in chat, actually, that the player number bump was probably mostly due to the Steam sale.
There is that as well.
He backs it up, and I forget that this is a some kind of metric that's interesting. Is fuel rat numbers have some very vague, certainly with things like when the Epic,
Players, yeah.
when it was free on Epic, they saw a massive bump. So yeah, Fuel Rats saw a bump during the sale, and then it went again once the sale had finished.
Ah, right. Well, I mean, Elite Dangerous plus Odyssey for 16 quid. That was.
I know, right? How good is that?
Oh, massive bargain. If I didn't already have 4 accounts. Anyway, we shall move on. If you have a community event taking place soon, and
Oh, we
you
just
would
had
like
one extra
us-
community. We've just had
Oh,
one
we've got
extra
anyone?
community event. Yeah. Orange Phoenix has just said in chat. There's the Wings of Life charity event.
Oh, right.
Raising funds for Starlight Children's Foundation. Apparently, it's going on all over the weekend this weekend.
There we
It
go.
was delayed. It was delayed a couple of weeks because of rather nefarious folks. But that's happening. That's happening this weekend.
Excellent. I like this. Commander Lord Have Mercy. It says, I'm going to start passing out Have You Tried Elite Dangerous cards to my Uber passengers.
Okay. They're going to look at you like you're a crazy person, and that is fine.
Yeah. Anyway, right. I will say this, that if you do have a community event, just like Orange Phoenix has let us know, I would like to shout about it across the airways. Tweet us at Lave Radio or email info@laveradio.com if you like gramophones. So, moving on, the in-game events. What has been happening this week? Well, a couple of things. It's gone a little bit quiet, but on the 22nd of September, Zachary Rackham has now withdrawn from the presidential election. This kind of is due to everybody finding out that he was a no good dirty pirate in his younger days. And, or rather, he says it's all circumstantial, but he will withdraw from the race to fight the allegations. So,
Yeah, heard that story before.
yeah, where have we heard that before? Yes. So, Tatty bye. So it's LCU, no like one for Prez, or no one. His
To
singing
be fair,
voice,
it's always been 4 for president or no one, really.
anything to stop him singing. And if he's too busy being president, he can't sing. So,
Maybe.
Oh, LTU, he's a creep. He's a weirdo.
That is a campaign slogan and a half, isn't it? Just let's unpack that for a moment. Amazing.
I think it's a little bit too close to reality, and yet, creeps and weirdos have also gotten into politics.
With pressing regularity.
Yeah. Humans suck.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
That sounded far too. I found it sounded far too happy about that.
Yeah, you're in your happy place again, aren't you?
I mean,
you
someone's
were
got to be.
to work in some kind of innuendo to that. I know it.
Listen, I wasn't intentional.
Anyway, on the 25th of September, Aegis has resolved to free the abductees from the Titans. Now, this is set a couple of cats amongst the pigeons, because they have now got the Sirius Corporation are now recommending that they modify the one of the mining missiles so that instead of drilling out minerals, you'll be drilling out survivors.
Seriously,
Partial
Frontier.
survivors.
Seriously. Oh my God.
Partial survivors. It's going to be parts of survivors that come out.
Subsurface
What
displacement
could go
missiles to
wrong?
rescue people. Oh
It's-
God.
so it's experimental.
Hmm.
I've had so many laughs over this over the last few days. Like
So many
some-
NPCs are going to die.
somebody in Discord was saying there should be like sort of bonus, like you get bonuses for DSS scanning a planet and stuff. You should get bonuses from search and rescues for whether you hand in prime cuts or lean mints.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. They've been turned to fertilizer, aren't they? It became a good old elite tradition.
I mean,
It does raise what could go wrong?
lest we forget, a subsurface displacement missile is essentially a massive industrial drill that's designed to, drill its way down
Drill into a rock, and then
through rock
explodes.
and metal until it reaches an area of soft tissue, at which point we press a button and it explodes, turns everything around it into sort of
Fuck, it does, doesn't it?
gas and water, which it then blasts out through the hole behind it, and we then scoop it up in a bag. And this is the way that Aegis are going to rescue humans. I mean, good God.
What could go wrong?
That's
mean,
incredible.
For those of you who have been out to the Titans and seen try to detect the humans,
Yeah.
what have you found there? Is it just the escape pod models shoved into the
So it's
into
two.
the Titan?
It's effectively it's like you see about 200. I would say probably like 200 meters down, 200 so far away from you. You have two concentric rings of what looks like escape pods in rings in like green. You see them sort of through the
membrane.
through it, as in like it's a scan. But they are so tiny on the Titan. I cannot stress this enough how tiny they are on the Titan. But also, you know how you have the spot that you would drill into on the that pops up on the HUD.
Yes.
It looks like something that a subsurface missile would go into, in the same way as on an asteroid. So it's the same graphic. They've reused the same holographic kind of thing. So this didn't come as a surprise to a lot of people that we were going to be using subsurface missiles.
Here's the thing. Could it work like this? Because I haven't been to the Titan. Is it conceivable that the pods are arranged in a circle around a central? They're arranged in a circle around a central point, aren't they? They're like
I would imagine so. Yeah.
a little wheel of escape pods. How about this? How about what we do is the displacement missile goes in the middle, so you're not drilling down through human beings, right? And then when it blows up, you could just about envisage that maybe there are passageways from each escape pod to some central cavity, and what the missile does is sort of blow out that cavity and let the escape pods safely I'm desperately stretching here.
Nope.
Safely travel. No, it's meant to be, isn't it?
They would need something along the same lines as the Thargoid limpets have, with their little safety cocoon that protects the thing. We don't have that. We like our limpets are on a wing and a prayer, because they're not designed
and explosives,
to
it'll
grab
be
these
fine.
things. Yeah, no, we're just going to blow everything up and turn it all into mush to make them easier Capri Suns for them to eat.
Honestly, can you imagine, like, you know, those Chilean miners or those kids that got stuck in that cave in Thailand? Can you imagine? Honestly,
oh my God. Yes, I can imagine us doing
I'm
that.
not even going to describe it, but
The scientists going, we should shove explosives down there. 100%.
and it'll vent them out through them.
I love what Yes Again has said. This is a business plan from the Sirius Corporation to sell prosthetics.
To the list. Add it to the list right now.
This could be the non-lethal rescue method we've been searching for. Yes.
Is that what it genuinely says on this thing?
Yes. This could be the non-lethal rescue method we've been searching for. I mean, it could be. It could be.
It could be. Only a few limbs are lost in the process.
Oh no, Chris! Really? Organic haggis?
Like popping a blister on the Titan, then the humans sploosh into space and we scoop them up.
Wonder if that's what the Titan's thinking.
It is. It's Dr. Pimple Popper for Titans. we just like you squeeze out a human.
It really is the funniest thing Frontier have ever done. However, there is a flip side to this, actually. I actually quite like the subsurface mining mechanic, and I think it's sadly underused. And I'm actually quite looking forward to doing this.
Yeah, same. I'm quite looking forward to using a subsurface missile while in mortal peril.
It's great. It's a really good little tool, and nobody uses it because you either deep core the things and get void opals for loads of money,
Yeah.
or you surface mine the thing for loads of money. But very
I've
few people
totally forgotten about the mechanics of it until
great. Do you remember the
mentioned
little- there's
about
the little
this
graphic
little
and you have to
bar, and
let-
then you have to press a button when it goes
Yeah.
blue. I
Yeah.
remember all of it, and then it goes sploot, and then everything comes out. Amazing. That's exactly how it's going to be with people, and they're going to be fine. It's going to be safe.
What's that? You know what they need? You know what they need? What's that gel that they use in the passenger cannon? They need to squirt that in first
I can't remember what we called it.
to make sure they're safe, and then they'll just.
How about this?
And they wear a jacket. I think they wear a jacket in that, and we inflate the jacket, and there is also gel. There was definitely
fill it with
a
gel.
squeezy. Yeah. Impact absorbing safety gel.
It'll be
I
fine.
didn't write that one.
Aegis have got this.
Or how about this? Someone does a deep core mining at the center of the circle where all these pods are, and as soon as that deep core detonates, all the pods are released.
That's the next step. That's the next step for.
Who doesn't want to see
on-
that? Who doesn't want to see a Titan cracked in half? That would be.
It would take it takes 70 commanders all using every single one of their exploding limpety type things. They all have to be in highs, and they all have to be optimized, and it has to be perfect, but then eventually you will crack it open
Oh, that's
like it is an
brilliant.
egg.
Like you've still got a timer. You've got like a 2-minute countdown, but you've got to place 100 seismic charges very accurately.
100%, yeah. Yeah, the most, like, this is what all of the core miners are like, yes, this is what I've been training for my entire life.
Yeah, it would have to be the Titan. In order to deal with the Titan, it would have to be a massive player effort, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I honestly don't think they're going anywhere, especially, again,
yeah.
we've had this conversation loads of times, we don't think that they're going anywhere anytime soon, because it's going to take away such a huge part of the gameplay, or like their Frontiers emergent gameplay that they currently have, that it would be really difficult.
Or there's a design fault, and there's an exhaust port, and if we can just get one missile to go in the exhaust port.
Yes. Or blow up the heat exchanger.
Yeah, either of those.
Oh, there's a couple of dams in there somewhere.
Either of those well-proven methods of destroying massive Death Star-like vehicles.
They don't like it up them.
They don't. It's been proved repeatedly.
Right. Well, due to the fact that there isn't anything new in the store this week, we're just going to go straight to an advert break. And then we'll come back with the question of the week after that, I think. If that is okay.
There's bargains at Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium haven't just been slicing carcasses, but also slicing their prices. All unspecified meat sausages now 2 for the price of 1. A pack of assorted meat steaks, now with 50% more meat at half the price. How about chops? Our surprising meat chops now also 50% off. And introducing our massive meat hamper. It's a family of 4. No, that should say feeds a family of 4, right?
Stick to the script, Claire. It says it's a family of 4.
Okay, I'll stick to the script.
Yeah, you do that.
It's a family of 4. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Find us in the Lave business directory or visit us next to the station mortuary. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. You'll wonder how our prices are so low.
From the creators of luggage limpets and passenger lounge suitcase shuttles comes the latest revolution in passenger transportation. The passenger cannon. For centuries, circus performers have perfected the technique of being fired from a cannon. Paired with our new memory gel passenger pod impact absorption technology, you too can speed up disembarkation times from your liner by up to 250%. No longer be limited by pad sizes and excessive docking fees with the passenger cannon. But how does it all work? First, all passengers will be issued with a passenger pod inflation suit during transit. On approach to your passenger's destination, simply fill the inflation suit with our patented impact-absorbing memory gel. Then, once in a stable position in proximity to the destination, effortlessly slide them into the disembarkation chamber ready for launch. The passenger cannon is now available in both gimbaled and turreted varieties to make aiming elementary. Make your liner one of the top 1% in the galaxy. Buy a passenger cannon today. Warning, passenger cannon must not be operated on high-gravity planets or near geysers.
Dreams. Humanity's dreams. The hope to live among the stars. From early times, we've gazed up to the heavens and wondered if one day we could travel there. Maybe even live there. The Brewer Corporation has made this dream a reality, constructing intricate cathedrals of metal, circling numerous planets across thousands of systems in our human bubble. Why stay rooted in a gravity well when you can be free in orbit, free to dream, free to live, and one day to become a commander and be free to blaze your own trail. Brewer Corporation, the first step into the unknown. Come join us. Be free.
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Excellent, and welcome back. Good sting. Anyway, question of the week that we've had for that Psychic quite thankfully put out on time on Saturday.
Okay. It wasn't quite on time. It was quite late on Sunday that I did it. Because this weekend got away with me really hard. So thanks to those of you who did answer. Appreciated.
Yeah. At least you didn't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch a Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah, fuck that. I watched it later though.
Yeah. Anyway, the question is, do you know of something in Elite that often gets missed by other people? Be it a piece of lore, a really out-of-the-way voice log, or a secret tip that you know will make Galaxy life easier? We want to know. Well, we got quite a few answers to this, which was always pleasant. And I will kick off with the lovely Commander Orange Phoenix. No relation. The camera default position is set to a slight fisheye. If you do an adjustment to the zoom before taking pictures, planets and objects to the side will not appear warped or egg-shaped.
Which is a cracking tip, actually.
Good to know if you like taking your photos.
Yeah. Sometimes I will very carefully. I know what he means. I mean, there is definitely a bit of a fisheye, and I will generally try and make sure that planets or round things are not off to the sides of the pictures. But yeah, a nice idea just to nudge the zoom in a bit so that it's. Is that what he's suggesting? If you do just nudge the zoom in a little bit.
I found that if you zoom in ever so slightly, it. I think that's what he's referring to. If you zoom in ever so slightly, it combats the fisheye, and it makes the planets look a little bit rounder, which is quite nice.
Equally, what you can do, something I sometimes run into is I'm trying to get a picture of the SRV or me standing, on the edge of a crater or something, and it's kind of annoying because you can't always get the edges of the crater in. And what you can do, it's not brilliant, but if you zoom out to, enough to get the crater in, as long as your sort of main focus, the SRV or yourself, is pretty much smack bang in the middle, then you can sort of get away with the extra fisheye that zooming out brings to it. Sometimes it can make the SRV look a bit elongated, but you can sort of get away with zooming out as well, as long as you put stuff in the middle.
Excellent. Good tip. Oh, you've got a couple of tips here, Alec. Surprisingly enough.
I mean, These.
You're
It's
okay.
funny, is it? It's obviously subjective. I suspect, in some sense, many of us will probably know most, if not all, of these things. But then there are people that don't know. Yeah. So there's a lot. These aren't new to people that have heard me witter on before, but I thought they were kind of interesting. So they come up occasionally. One is that if you're trying to save power, whether it's just because you've got a difficult build that's a bit power hungry, or you're sort of in the SRV and you're traveling long distances and you want to preserve your fuel, that kind of thing. You can actually turn the power distributor completely off. It feels a little bit like a bug to me, but the way the power distributor works is that when it's off, you can't change your pips. So the pips remain set the way you have them, but the capacitors still recharge. If it was me, I'd have made it that if you turn it off, then you've got one capacitor load in each of Cis engine weapons, and once it's drained, it's drained. But anyway, it doesn't work like that. It will continue to recharge those things, but you can't change the pips. So if you don't want to change your pips, then you can turn the power distributor off completely, and it's quite power hungry, so it's quite a good saver. My other tip is an old one that I like, which is that the big thrusters that are mounted on the SRV that lift you off the ground when you hit boost, they actually, the direction, although they don't move, the direction of the thrust that comes out of them reverses when the SRV is upside down. It's quite a neat design, because really those boosters are primarily designed to get you out of trouble. So if you get stuck on your roof, you just hit boost, and because the thrust is reversed, the boost comes out the top and it lifts the SRV off the ground, and you can get yourself the right way up again.
I did not realize that. Every single time I've ended up on my roof, I've always rolled.
Here's the thing. This is where you'll really notice it, is if for whatever reason you've annoyed yourself and you're actually trying to blow yourself up, you cannot boost into the ground. So if you try and sort of boost the SRV up in the air and then turn upside down and you want to hurl yourself into the ground, it won't work, because the thrusters reverse and continue to push.
If only I knew that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Where it gets really cool is, and this is how I drive up buildings, is it happens just past 90 degrees. So if you tip the SRV back literally to sort of 90.1 degrees, so that these thrusters reverse direction, and then press your boost, it will push you in the direction of your wheels. So you can literally push your wheels up against a wall and then literally drive straight up it.
Didn't you do an entire predecessor to Frameshift Live with
Yes, we taught Arthur and Stephen. Bruce and Stephen. We taught Bruce and Stephen.
It was that crowd anyway.
I think it was Arthur, funnily enough. Arthur and Stephen.
No, I think it was Arthur.
We taught them to drive up the side of a building, and they did jolly well at it.
That now explains to me how you can drive up a building. I just thought you were exploiting a bug, but now that
it's all part of the mechanics. It's neat, but I'm not sure it's what they intended. I think they intended it to basically get your SRV unstuck.
Well,
that is the absolute mantra of Elite, though, isn't it? I'm not sure it's what they intended, but we're doing it anyway.
Amen to that.
Ben, you've got the next one from someone.
I've got
this person be?
Yeah, I've got some gentleman by the name of Dune Halil or something. Yeah.
That's my pronunciation. So yeah,
probably. But yeah, he's apparently been killed off in a couple of voice logs.
Yeah, he has.
Oh yeah. And in fact, the names of many people killed in Horizon's logs will match up with the names of designers that you find in the credits.
He mentioned this on ECM late on ECM. He was talking about this. But the logs are, in this particular instance, the logs are from Generation Ship Phobos. Halil won't make it through the night is one of the lines in Generation Ship Phobos. And at Penal Colony BV2259, which I believe is one of the abandoned bases with all the Thargoid attacks and stuff, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, Chief Warden Halil is the whole of those voice lines, and he freezes to death at that colony.
Brilliant. Love it. That's funny.
Okay, Claire, your
Oh
turn.
yeah, me. Yeah. Neve Kaminari says for the Odyssey engineers that require sell X something to bartenders, that also counts selling to fleet carrier bars. And even if you're just buying and selling the same one item back and forth 10 times, it counts as 10 sales. I did not know that, and that is very cool.
Yes, I only found out about this after I had sold the 10 items that took absolutely ages to find. And all I needed to do was, because I think it was one of the people in my stream said, no, you just need to come over to my fleet carrier and buy and sell that item once 10 times, and it works. And this was when I'd actually collected something about 9 of them. And I just did that trick to get the final one. And the amount of hours I wasted. Oh no, it was something ridiculous. About 20 of 30 hours I had spent trying just to get 10 of these things. I can't. And this is the worst thing. I can't even remember what it was now.
Well, I've just found a lovely little feature. If you're upside down in a scarab, not scarab, a
Yes.
scorpion,
Mm-hmm.
your turret clips into the ground.
Oh right, so you can see the planetary model then.
Well, I maybe I can. I've not tried that yet. I'm an external camera, looking at myself upside down but bouncing up.
That was it. Settlement defense plans and opinion polls. Yeah. So I think it was opinion polls actually.
Yeah, and my turret is going into.
Oh, I see. Oh, so what happens if you go into turret mode? Are you inside the planet mesh?
I'll try that. Let me. I'm always tipping into it. I'm trying not to tip onto my top.
I always get a bit scared when that happens because last time I accidentally hit a rock, hit the ground, and for some reason went through the ground into the planetary mesh and kept falling.
Miggles is currently in my turret, so he'll have to tell me whether or not he can see through the planet or not.
Oh, okay.
I'm the right way around now.
This is excellent radio.
Incredible,
let's all
incredible
wait
radio.
in
Let's move on to the
silence
next
see
one,
what's
eh?
going to happen.
In the meantime, I'll have a quick look at what's been sent in from Starguide. Now I use this all the time. It's one of the things that I did know, but it's not all that well publicized. There is actually a keybind in the DSS mode that allows you to see the backside of the planet. And it's crazy how many people aren't aware of this because one of the things when you're trying to scan a planet, obviously, is that from the visible side, yes, you were able to fire off your probes and make educated guesses where the rest of it is going, but you don't know how you've done around the back end of the planet. I'm so trying to be careful here, but there's this key that just flips it between front and back view, and you can actually see where the probes haven't impacted. So it is very useful, and not many people know about it. And yeah, I have that one bound to my keys somewhere.
I do. I have it bound to the same key that I use to reverse the direction of my throttle, because like reverse equals back, innit? Backside, reverse. They kind of
Incredible. What a legend.
sort of the same thing, innit? Anyway. Safia says, this, I don't know what this is in reference to.
It was about the previous one from Stargoid.
Oh, I see. Okay. This reminds me of use keyboard mouse for the FSS if you can. No matter how many other control devices you use, it is the quickest, easiest, and most precise by far. This is not the first time I've heard this. It is still on my to-do list to change my FSS bindings to mouse and keyboard because I currently have it on the HOTAS. And yeah, it is a bit sluggish to move around and scan the different things. And I've heard numerous people say that switching to mouse is absolutely life-changing.
I use controller for it. So I switched to controller, and I am so used to doing it on the controller. I feel like I'm relatively quick with the FSS on the controller. I think I would probably be quicker with a keyboard and mouse, but it is so, for me at least, I find it incredibly daunting changing
I'm the
that
same.
and changing my muscle memory for what
And
for
it's
that
why
kind
I
of
haven't
thing.
done it. It's why it's still on my to-do list to switch to mouse, because despite seeing 3 or 4 people say it's life-changing, I'm like, yeah, but I kind of like it on my joystick.
Yeah, I use the analog button on my throttle to move around the places, and then I use
I can understand that.
Yeah, I use that, and that feels, because it feels like you're moving a turret around rather than moving a gun. So it does, the left, right, up, down feels more natural to me than full analog or full keyboard and mouse. But yeah, I can see what they're getting at.
Right.
Anyway, shall I go on with Commander Indigo?
For sure.
Why not? If you have to fly around a planet, then there's a blue range on the pitch indicator between plus and minus 10 degrees. And if you're in that range, you'll accelerate a lot faster than if you're just in the normal orange area. Maybe simulating the gravity slingshot effect a little bit. I don't think it does, but I know, yeah. I mean, general rule of thumb, actually, always follow the blues while you're flying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It seems that the higher altitude, when you hit the blues, the faster you go around. So it sometimes is worth
The
climbing
higher
yeah.
you are, the faster you go anyway.
Yes. So if you hit the blues and you're under about 10k, you'll probably go around it at 7. But if you go up to say about 100k, then it goes up to 100. So if you need to circumnavigate quite quickly, it's better to go up and round rather than straight up, or just go up 10k or so and then round, because you'll get there faster.
Yeah, I would love to know the science on this, and I know Shay's in chat, and maybe he's done it. I mean, because obviously it features in racing, but yeah, if you take off and where you want to go is how, well, the classic example is you take off and the system you want to jump to is pretty much literally on the other side of the planet, so you've got to go all the way around it, and I constantly juggle in my head what's the best way to approach that, because I'm aware of this blue zone thing where you can go faster. But in practice, I feel like you're probably better off just heading up at 90 degrees exactly and clearing the planet's gravity as fast as you can, and then starting to arc around the back.
It depends on how far away your target is. If your target is the other side of the planet, then yes, that's right.
It feels very subtle what's the best.
Yeah, if you're sort of like, I don't know, quarter of the way around the planet, then it's better to use the blues, as Ben would say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I dare say gravity affects this as well, so it's different in every instance. It's nice. I love the game in that regard, that it's not just a binary do this, do that. It always feels different.
That I'm not going to lie, that completely went over my head. Everything that you were saying, then I was like, yeah, sure, it makes sense.
I need diagrams, but they don't work on a podcast.
This makes perfect sense to me. This is from Epaphras, who says that a loop of shame is often quicker than the rule of 6. Obviously, if you overshoot by a week, it won't be. It's something. There's lots of video evidence of people, Shay included, using doing a loop of shame in inverted commas to arrive at a station a little quicker, and I swear by it. It's not due to incompetence. I just swear by it. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot quicker.
But
it is. Indeed.
That's weird, because obviously I've used the rule of 7, not 6, but
which is even
slower. Even slower.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is that 6-7 thing is your FSD is in a constant, steady, controlled deceleration. So the closer you get, the slower you're going, and it's just gradually decelerating, staying safe, or always staying the right side of that thing, whether it's going to accelerate or a G path or not.
Okay, I'm with
so
you.
constantly decelerating the whole time. Whereas if you just go straight for the target, you're gonna get there bloody quick. And sure, you'll go straight past it and loop around, but you've saved so much time getting there that the extra
Right, I
penalty of
see.
coming back around for another pass is like half what the long, slow, steady 6-second approach would cost you.
So yeah, effectively, a loop of shame is not really a loop of shame anymore. It's a loop of performance.
It is.
Precision.
Loop of precision. There you go.
Well, that could be a new show title as well.
A loop of, I totally meant to do that.
Yeah. Okay. And we've got Silas Reese. If you get sent to Raxler, you get sent to Raxler if you hit Alt F4. I think not, but however, also using the shipboard night vision is during the day is a help with finding exobiology. So I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't have an awful lot of experience with it, but
I've done a bit. I would say it can be. It depends kind of on the lighting and the coloration, and sometimes it can. I find sometimes, particularly looking for bacteria, that it can sometimes make things worse. I think it's a good rule. It's definitely worth trying, but I don't think it always helps.
Oh, Shay Blackwood is giving away some of his secrets here. He says that he finds that the corkscrew is better.
yeah, but that's so difficult. It's so difficult. I find it really difficult to be consistent with it.
Yeah, the corkscrew is what I do as well, but it is
an
bit
advanced
of an art
technique.
Form. It's a bit of an art form, yeah.
Yeah. I am 100% certain that I've gotten a corkscrew right. When I do a corkscrew, on the rare occasion that a corkscrew is pulled off successfully, I land and I'm like, I can definitely do that again. And then I found out it was more luck than anything else. It was blind, stupid luck that managed to make it work the first time, and I cannot replicate it. So
the thing is, you have to do it totally by feel, because it is different for every radius and gravity, and it differs each time. So you kind of have to just know what it feels like to get it right, I think.
Well, I'm going to give the exobiology night vision a try next time I'm doing that, because
I don't think anyone else has said it. So on that subject, I'm just skimming ahead. I don't think anyone has said this. I think we've mentioned it before, but the other thing with exobiology is to have the composition scanner equipped.
Yes.
And selected in your fire groups, because then, particularly again looking for bacteria, you'll just get that little blip when occasionally your HUD passes over a bit of bacteria that you completely failed to see, and you're like, oh, hang on, what was that blip? And you can back up a bit. And
I've been quite lucky in the last couple of explorations I've done, because the bacteria has been grey on basically an orange planet, so that's been quite easy to find. But spotting bacteria on a icy moon, no chance. Just pot luck whether or not you get anything. Anyway, move on to the next one, Alec.
Oh, sorry, I was just replying to Shay in chat. Tap 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 tap. What is the next one? Rymen Z.
I think first thing he says is rimming. Right, okay.
Rymen Z. Not a lore thing, but recently discovered that the compass will point you to your landing pad when you're inside a station and trying to land. Yes, it will. So many little tips on finding your pad, aren't there?
Yeah.
The hologram of the Coriolis has got little arrows on it. It always rotates anti-clockwise. The mail slot always faces the planet. The compass literally points you to your pad. So many clues.
I don't think it does point to the planet anymore.
It's at the North Pole of the planet, I believe.
Ah, right, okay, not exactly at the equator.
It's not like directly like facing the planet. I think it points to one of the poles. I'm going to say. Yeah. I might be very mistaken with that, but
I would say
sure I'm
generally it always points certainly within the circumference of the planet, I gather there's some exceptions where it really is a bit off, but I would definitely say it never points away from the planet. So roughly towards the planet is a not a bad. If you, because in racing, another way of getting to the station fast is to skim past the planet. So you come screaming in at sort of a ETA of 3 seconds, where you're definitely going to overshoot, but you cut very close to the planet, and it bleeds all the speed off at the last minute, which is very nice if you get it right.
Yeah, that is nice.
And the nice thing
that's
about
easier than corkscrewing for me.
yeah, and the nice thing about doing that is that not only does it get you there fast, but when you drop out, because you've come past the planet, you're aiming straight at the mail slot.
Excellent.
So some bloke by the name of Little Bigian.
Don't know him. What's it? I want to hear what he's like.
I think you might know him. Is suggesting you go and do some passenger sightseeing missions, not the stupid ass long distance ones, but the medium distance ones. It's a really nice way to get some lore as well as some decent exploration ranking. And he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong because there's so many, like the little places where you take people to. All of them, when you scan them as part of the mission, all of them have a cool, and they've got a cool bit of blurb that runs with it, which is all like tasty lore that you can get a hold of in the game, you know? So very cool.
That's one thing that we could actually bring up for a question of the week in the future, because if there's one part of Elite Dangerous I have never done is passenger missions.
Really?
Never done passenger missions.
Apart from rescuing people from burning stations and from
even like the putting people in your dolphin and taking them around places, or the luxury ones.
Never done anything like that.
Oh, they're a lot of fun.
What's your question of the week with that regard, Colin?
Well, it would be: is there something in Elite Dangerous you have yet to try? And
that is a good question.
Okay. Yeah, no, it is a good question. I'll file that into the list of questions, like the really long list of questions that I have. Be prepared for that one to drop on Saturday.
Some people might not know, actually, on that passenger thing, that a lot of the tourist destinations came from a community initiative. I think Michael Brooks did it. There was a forum thread asking for suggestions of destinations, and people wrote stuff, and they took a bunch of them and used them as the
Yeah, I know. I remember.
The Tin Isla graveyard is still not implemented.
Yeah, I remember trying contributing to that, but my entry didn't get used.
Well, I'm not saying I'm bitter, but my response to that is post number 1 on that damn thread, and it was Mitterrand Hollow, and they didn't put a tourist beacon there. I mean, come on.
What?
I'm surprised that there isn't even anything like near a nav beacon for that planet, for that system. Just saying this has got the craziest.
I can't remember what I wrote, but I wrote a great bit of text to go with it as well. They didn't use it. It's gutted.
So funny. So funny.
Maybe they didn't want to bring attention to it because it's a bit of a bug, isn't it? Mitterrand Hollow.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
The last one of the night.
Yeah, Chebs Will says, I've got one that I might quite like to add after it, but the BGS is really good. I wholeheartedly agree. Pretty much anything that you do changes it, and in smaller population systems, that has a bigger effect. Even going to signal sources changes things. The background economy is good. Do a few big runs to an outpost and the prices change. If you take a mixed cargo run, it'll have more effect on the BGS than just piling in the bigger profit runs. Also, the background star field is generated properly from what is around you. The first time I realized this, I thought, wow, this game is big. It's a big game. It's a big game.
I love it when you're going out to Colonia and you get to the Pillars of Humanity and things.
Yeah.
And the stars, the sky just gets denser and denser. That's great as well.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So mine might not necessarily, and I didn't include it. I just retweeted it and didn't even bother responding because I'm a garbage person. But like I'd love to open it to you guys if you have any. I know Alec responded, but to the others of you, if you have any. My personal one would be, and I know it's not super hidden, but and it's not something that people might not know about, but I will always defer to the INRA logs and that whole like taking a few hours out of your day, like look it up on a wiki or something, and the list of the order by which to visit the stations is pretty solid from the wiki. And go and visit those stations and go and listen to all of those logs, especially with what is going on at the moment. If you haven't done it before, if you are new to Elite and you're like, what the fuck is going on with all these Sargoids and stuff? This is what started it. You know, this is well, not quite started it, but this was
it's how we got here.
It's the basis of how we got here, and it's beautiful, and the voice acting throughout is phenomenal. You know, so it is well worth a visit if it's something that you're new to the game or you're not really aware of. Just look up the INRA logs and or INRA log sites and go and visit them. It's perfection and wonderful, and it changed the way I felt about Elite Dangerous.
I thought you were saying Inara for some. You were saying INRA, and
INRA.
I was hearing Inara.
Yeah, see, you get it mixed up as well, don't you? Yeah.
I was there.
You got me there.
INRA. For anyone googling it, INRA.
I'll put a link in the show notes to the
Brilliant.
actual the wiki article, which lists them in a really good order.
Jameson's Cobra must be in that sequence as well,
It
right?
definitely is. It's right at the end.
Who does the voice acting for that? Claire?
Neil Newborn. He also does the voice acting for the whistleblower in the same set. He's also one of the voices of the Sanctum and the Prophet. He's the Birmingham sounding voice, which is his original accent. I'm not going to go on anymore because I'm embarrassing myself.
Oh, well, okay, but that actually brings up something that I can say is that I didn't realize that when you actually go again and track all these beacons down, if there are voice logs, the vast majority of them are still available in your codex. So you can go back and you can listen to the whole things, and you can actually have them all lined up in your player, so that you can actually listen to them as you are flying through, say, I don't know, a hot and orbital trip. You can have them all lined up and listen to them in whatever order you like, and even have them on repeat. And if you don't know what
confirm, by the way, I've just flown over a planet, jumped out, and I was like, "Oh, there's the mail slot. Hello."
Right.
Okay.
You know, the mail slot is pointing very happily at the planets.
Yeah. In fact, Shay confirmed in chat that it is basically the North Pole. That it's. I hadn't realised that. I thought it was just somewhere within the circumference.
I
But
didn't know it was the North Pole.
I
apparently
cannot
it's the
remember
North
who told me
I'll
that.
take his word for that.
Yes, I will too. With a couple of exceptions.
Mark Gamer 01 has just highlighted something. He's just visited the Zahura mega ship for the first time. It's got a great set of logs, but also there are mega ships that you can actually get lifts from, aren't there? The mega ships that have got a route.
Do they still run through their little cycles of 5 or 6 stations endlessly?
I think they do.
You know, I think they might.
I know that the
How do you
ones.
find out about that again?
Oh, that's the thing. You actually have to catch one of them, and then when you scan it, it will give you a list of the places that it's going. But there's no other way to find out until you actually scan it. I think you have to scan also
It must be on Elite
the
Dangerous
comms log.
Wiki or something like that. Or, you know, where they are and what they're doing and when they do it must be.
What's
it
the
must
word?
Be available some way.
What's the word on a ship for the name of the ports it's going to? There's a itinerary. No, there's a word.
Itinerary sounds right. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to find the right Google search that will, as you were.
Ephesus is saying canon.
Okay.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of that nice little section. Thanks
Ben, do you
to.
have one?
Pardon?
Does Ben have one? Does Ben have a thing? He didn't say one.
I've been chiming in live, so I'll take them.
Okay, cool.
Plan. That's it.
Right. Well, if that's the case, has anybody got any other business? I know that you do have Psychic, so go.
I do. It's cyberpunk related. I'm gonna do a tiny little plug. It's cyberpunk related. Cyberpunk has got drops this week. No, for the next 4 weeks, different types of drops. If you for people who are there's been like, I think it's about 450, 500 folks who 500 content creators who have these drops. They have and there's like a different item of clothing each week. So I'm included in that. So, you know, if you want to get that, you can. The other thing that Cyberpunk is doing is a supporter streamer initiative, wherein if you gift 2 subs to a streamer who is streaming Cyberpunk and you've got all of your game linked up and stuff, you can gain access to, I think it's the Phantom sniper rifle in game. All well and good, great. From 5 o'clock today, UK time, so all day tomorrow and going forward until I believe the end of the month, all gift subs on Twitch are 25% off, I think. 25 or 30, one of the two. They're discounted, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're playing Cyberpunk, if you're playing Phantom Liberty, and you quite fancy it, it is cheaper to do it in the next couple of days than it is at all. Just an FYI, if that would be something that you were interested in. Cyberpunk's really cool. It's a really fun game.
Yes, it is now that they've fixed it up, which is
I mean, which is synonymous with a lot of games that we've talked about.
Yeah, pretty much. Only this time, people have gone back and fixed their reviews. Just saying. Yeah, I've got a little bit of any other business now that my arms have started to work again. Soon I will be back trying my best with the Alpine team on F1 Manager, being taught how to play the game by my son. So keep an eye out for that stream. See, can you manage a team with fractured arms? So yeah. I think then, if anybody else is okay, we'll move on to the shout-outs.
I have one quick PSA, which is I've just been doing some research. There is a canon page about megaship flight operations.
Excellent.
Flight plan was the thing I was looking for, although itinerary was great, but flight plan was I think what they called it in game. Yeah, the canon page has been taken down. Sorry, the file you've requested has been deleted. I don't know what to make of that. Does it mean these things no longer happen?
I think we need to speak to Phil for president.
Indeed.
Yeah. Because I wanted to find out whether or not there's one actually. I was always under the impression that there is a megaship that does the Colonia run, but I can't. I don't know whether or not that's my mind playing tricks on me, or whether it was wishful thinking. So yeah, I know that there's one that goes out to where the it was part of it's set up as part of the community goal, where there was the a whole load of Guardian artifacts, and that went straight back into the center of the bubble. But yeah, something to look for, I think. Homework for next week. Yeah. So let's do our shout-outs. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday from 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We're also giving a shout outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts. So hello to the Guard Frequency, who do other space games as well. And of course, the lovely Loose Screws, who love their cheese over the other side of the pond. Following this, I do believe we have a Galnet News Digest that's provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. And we'd just like to thank everybody who's chipped in on the Twitch chat. And the Inga commanders that have annoyed you and the Chris Mark IV are...
So we've had Miggles, Chris, Lord Shredu, IVA Sergus, who I was riding on the top and bottom of his hauler, and PC Bill. Oh, and Sir Complain a Lot, and Doc One was with us at the beginning as well.
Excellent. Right, well, we'll also say special thanks to Commander Tokuso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who have all created music that is used on the show. So that's it for yet another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find the contact links in home/contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Now, do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything that you'd like us to discuss in future episodes. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So, I'd just like to say thank you, Claire.
You're very welcome, Colin. Thank you ever so much.
We'll say thank you, Ben.
Anytime, Colin.
And of course, thank you, Alec. Yes.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah. Special thanks also goes for today's tech specialist, the Chris Mark IV.
You're welcome.
Why are we doing this?
I don't know. You said
I've got fucking IEMs in. This is so weird.
you said you wanted to do an
You know
ASMR.
what? I said specifically not to do this.
That's because you're scared of people relieving themselves.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Relieving themselves is a very different thing, Colin.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a difficult wank at most days. It's Lave, but today it's really plateaued. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with us, then please join us whenever we're on, and you can get in touch with us by having a look at the links on the laveradio.com website.
We've done this bit. Ben, why are you doing it again? Ben, why are you doing it again? We've done it.
We're going with it. Let us know if you've got any questions or if there's anything you'd like to discuss in a future episode. We're recording live. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, fly safe, and if you can't do that, bugger off out of here.
What the hell?
Are you okay, Ben?
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. You need a safe word. Space can be done. I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 26th of September 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Zachary Rackham gives in to the inevitable, and the Sirius Corporation plans to explode our hostages to freedom. Zachary Rackham is out of the presidential race, after his lawyers apparently advised him that if the piracy allegations were proven, he could spend the rest of his life in jail. Rackham had been suffering from a rapid loss of both supporters and finance for his campaign after the latest and largely circumstantial evidence of his past life as Pirate Calico Jack was published by the Federal Times. The resignation, late last night, of running mate Harlan Turk must surely have signalled to Rackham that his position had become untenable. The idea of a criminal running to become federal leader will have shocked many on the right. Jerome Archer, who introduced draconian snoopers charter legislation following the 9 Martyrs bombings, nailed the widespread sentiment that no one with even a hint of criminality deserves to be the leader of the Federation. Felicia Winters sounded rather patronising when she suggested that Rackham was right to let the grown-up politicians fight the election. There are now only 2 official candidates left in the election, Liberal Party leader and Shadow President Felicia Winters and Republican Party Vice President Jerome Archer. Commander LCU No Fool Like One has a somewhat forlorn hope to be a write-in candidate. The election, which has been delayed by 4 months, is due to take place during October. The Sirius Corporation believes that modified subsurface displacement missiles are the best way to rescue human hostages trapped on Thargoid Titans. And it sounds like Aegis could be persuaded to give it a go. The Thargoids have been collecting humans for years, but since the invasion they've been putting ever-increasing effort into amassing a horde of captives. It's unclear to what use they intend to put these prisoners. The captured humans are believed to be stored in life support pods inside shallow voids just under the outer skin of the Titans. Sirius believes that the subsurface displacement missiles could be used to rupture the Titan's skin and dislodge the life support pods, allowing them to be scooped up and rescued. Aegis's advisor, Aidan Tanner, expressed a cautious hope that the charges contained within the displacement missiles will prove to be non-lethal to the hostages, and that the Titans will not be provoked to a violent response. With prototypes of the subsurface missiles already being prepared, it's possible that Aegis may be in a position to appeal for assistance setting up their mass manufacture within just a few days. And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.